Reinhard's dad is holding Felt hostage, and this guy's such a scumbag, man. He's found the one and only weakness of Reinhard. Although I still feel like Reinhardt should be able to somehow deal with the situation, like he's just that fast or something. But I don't know, maybe I'm downplaying Reinhardt's dad. He might be still pretty powerful with it. Although they did say something about him having a false title, but that just might be down to his character. He's just a bit of a scumbag kind of guy, but he might still be powerful, somewhat powerful. But yeah, Reinhardt is held up with this hostage situation with Felt. I don't know why he's holding a hostage. Is he working with the witches cult? What's happening with Priscilla? We don't know where she is. But back in the meeting with Subaru and the princesses with Wilhelm there, Al's there as well. Al is the one who's actually able to point out that the remains of the witch that's in this city isn't actually of the Witch of Envy. Just because someone mentions a witch, it's not the Witch of Envy. There are 6 other witches? Yeah, it is 6 other witches. And we actually get, I think it's basically confirmed in this episode which witch remains are in the city. And so the location of the remains is actually only known by the Council of 10. So Kiritaka would know where the witch's remains are. During the meeting, Felix gets a call on the mirror phone they have apparently. I didn't know that was a technology in the ReZero world. Mimi's other siblings are trying to get a hold of her because essentially they can tell Mimi's in danger. They seem to have an ability where they share damage somewhat. It is named as a trisection blessing. So it's probably a blessing these triplets have so they can stay in constant contact with each other and kind of always know what's going on with each other. And it seems like they do share some damage as well because they both have blood on their clothes, but it doesn't look like their clothes are cut. So do they actually get the same amount of damage or is it like a reduced amount? But during this, Capella gets back on the speaker system. And this scene is so intense, bro. The music is swelling and then there's just her annoying voice in the background. And it builds up to Garfield knocking on the door, Wilhelm being all on guard. And then they find out it's Garfield, so it's a ally, but they see Mimi there. And Garfield is just distraught. And then there's just Capella laughing in the background at the end of this. It was a really intense, well done scene in my opinion. After that intense scene, we go back to the shelter, I guess they're in, wherever they're taking care of Beatrice. That's when Kiritaka comes in and gives us some information about the witch's remains. He says it's actually physically impossible to move, and we get a shot of what I think is the witch's remains, and it looks like Typhon, and something else that comes up very soon kind of confirms that it is Typhon as well. The reason the remains are impossible to move is because if they are moved, it will cause another flooding on the same level of what happened when the city was made to capture Typhon, and that would result in the destruction of the city. Then we surprisingly get Al saying a line. He says, like what happened when Typhon was drowned. And the way he says her name, it seemed like he actually knew her. Is Al some 400-year-old being? He's always wearing that helmet. I don't think we've ever seen his face. Subaru actually mentions later on in the episode that we've never seen him fight, really. Who is this guy Al? He's always been an interesting character to me. Just a guy who always he's hiding his face. He's obviously hiding his face. Even Subaru looks back, but I guess it's kind of suspect to ask about a witch's name in front of everyone. Because I don't know if everyone knows all the witches' names. I don't know if that's common knowledge. Is that common knowledge in ReZero World? So we get to find out what happened in the battle with Garth, Mimi, and the 2 members of the witches cult. And this is what I'm liking. ReZero Season 3 is filled with some action. This is action-packed ReZero. This is something we haven't really gotten ever in ReZero. It wasn't really about the action mainly in ReZero. But we're getting a lot of fights. We get some more later on in the chapter as well, which I am excited about. So in the fight, it looked like Garth had the upper hand for quite a while, but things start to turn. These enemies are obviously way stronger, just like Mimi was saying. But it seems Garth just got a bit too ahead of himself because I was thinking whilst watching this, weren't you supposed to hit once to bounce? Because I thought he'd go buff Tiger Arms, try and hit them once, and then sprint away. But they were doing a couple hits and blows, and he gets caught lacking by the blue guy when he thought he was about to land a good blow on the female cult member. He eventually does try and run away, and he's holding Mimi kind of weird in my opinion. Like just Because he's got his big tiger arms and he's holding her by the claws, but he's running like Naruto style, so she's like dragging behind him. He should have been tucking her in or something. It might have just been more aerodynamic and easier for him to run that way, but because she's trailing her back, the female cult member is able to launch an attack. Mimi puts up a shield, but the attack is still able to go through and fatally wound Mimi. And I also wanted to mention that this is the first time we get to see a little bit of what Mimi can do. Obviously, she's not like a super top level character. As we can see, she got taken out pretty easy. Maybe with her triplet siblings, they're like a really good force to be reckoned with. But considering she's so young, she's actually really powerful. She does have potential to get super strong. And Garth is still having his whole emotional trauma with Elsa, which kind of leads to some of the downfall in this battle as well. So it's something he's really going to need to get over. And I assume we will by the end of this season. So Alcaster split off and he drops another suspicious kind of information. He lets them know that all the archbishops are probably going to be in the city. And I'm wondering, how does he know that? Also, he was the one to initially mention to Subaru that it's not necessarily the Witch of Envy's remains. And we kind of know that now. He definitely knows it's not the Witch of Envy's. He knows it's Typhons. And apparently the secrets of the witch's remains are only supposed to be known by the Council of Ten, so why does Al know? He's just blown up a lot of red flags for me. So we get into some more action. Like I was saying, this season is filled with action. Garth is coming back in looking even more confident. I'm really surprised that character arc turned around pretty quick. I know we're going to probably get some more with it. He's probably going to still see Elsa again. I guess because he's here with backup as well. He really wants to pummel these guys for what they did to Mimi. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention what Wilhelm brings up. He says the wound Mimi has will never heal. And we know that Wilhelm has a scar of his own that will never heal, and he even touches that scar. So Ricardo is handling this four-armed guy. He's able to counter all his punch, grabs all his hands, has his blade in his mouth. Garth gets the other hands. And Ricardo's about to land the finishing hit. But this guy just grows 4 more arms. However, Subaru's there. Subaru's actually able to help out during a fight. He uses his whip just to destabilize the guy. And Julius follows up with his attack. But the swordswoman is able to deflect Julius's attack. Then out of nowhere, we see Capella. And she's a dragon for some reason. What is going on? And with her annoying-ass voice and her appearance as a dragon, it's really kind of off-putting because it ruins the images of dragons in your head, just like Subaru actually says in this episode. And Subaru just goes off at Capella, and it turns out it's a time-wasting strategy. So Julius can blast her with a full charged attack right to her face. But it turns out she's a zombie dragon as well, I guess, and she just heals from that. So the group decides to split up. Garth, Ricardo, and Wilhelm will take on the 2 down below. And Julius, Krush, and Subaru will take on the Sin Archbishop, I guess. But did you see what you did to her? You hit her with a full charge attack and weren't able to do nothing. She just healed from that damage. I wonder how much stamina that took out of Julius. Hopefully not too much. And he does use spirit magic, so is it the spirits mana that's being used? Like, they're probably confident enough in their power to be able to take a Sin Archbishop on, or at least save the hostages, I guess. Subaru's group goes up to a rooftop of the council building, and up there, none other than Gluttony shows up, and he introduces himself again. He actually uses a different name this time. He uses Roy Alfard, which is different to what he gave Otto last time, and also what he gave to Rem, because I went back and looked. He did give the name Lai Batenkaitos. So he must have a multiple personality thing going on, or maybe he can clone himself, kind of like the rabbit, White Rabbit, that is related to Gluttony as well. And he does refer to himself as we. So maybe he does take the name of the people he eats. Maybe he has a Ram name as well. And could it be related to what Al said as well, not to give Gluttony your real name? Does he have to lie and give you a fake name as well? If you know his, it might be a situation where if you say his real name, it undoes the spell, like a Rumpelstiltskin kind of thing going on. And to be honest, I forgot to mention that Al said that before. And then that's another red flag. Why does he have all this information about the witch's cult? He does seem to be on the good guy side, but we need to find out who is this guy. So Gluttony showing up obviously pisses off Subaru, and he just remembers Rem, of course. And this is where the episode ends off. So I wonder what's gonna happen now. Can they really take Gluttony on right now? Is it just enough to kill him, to undo the memory wipes of everyone? Or do you have to say his name like a Rumpelstiltskin thing? I feel like that might be it. You have to say his real name. I think that would be cool. And we also don't know what happened to Otto. Where is Otto? Everyone seems to remember him, so I don't think Gluttony has ate him or killed him. Maybe Otto knew about Gluttony as well and knew not to say your real name. Maybe if you say a fake name and Gluttony tries to eat you, that like poisons him. And maybe that's why Roy Alphard is the one in control right now, because Lyle died because Otto tricked him by eating the fake name. But that is all I have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.